Killers on the rise now.
What's up, people? Matthew Belcher, 8build.com. We're here for Duramax Part 3 video. This is like the second time we've taken this video. Tech tip, using microphones, and you're in the wind. Use one of these little dead mouses. It blocks all the wind, supposed to make it clear. First video we did that you couldn't even hear me talk. So we're here for round 2. Duramax Part 3, over 1,000 horsepower. Crazy fast, definitely the fastest truck I've ever driven in my life. And I've driven some fast trucks, but this thing scares me a little bit, to be honest with you. It'll tighten you up. But anyways, I think we've gone over basically what we're doing. If you look down in the comments below in the description, we're going to leave a parts list of everything basically we put on this truck. We're going to try to do a once over, walk around, give you guys a whole idea. He's got this bumper. We edited this quite a bit here at 8Built. It's a bodyguard. However, we chopped off quite a bit on the outside, and then we added in some whole new extender plates because he didn't like seeing his body mounts down there. So we chopped that up. We changed it for him. We had to put a new grill on this truck. We also hit a turkey. We're in Tennessee, and turkeys this time of year, it's April, so turkeys get a little squirrely this time of year. He came right out of the woods, flew right into the front of the truck. Second grill, so we've got a new grill. It used to have a carbon fiber insert. We're still waiting for that. You'll have that when we're done. Also, we cut the hood on this thing. I've never cut a hood before. We've never cut a hood at 8, but this client wanted us to chop the hood, put some functional hood scoops or ram vents, scoop style in his hood, which it'll also help because the turbos are down here on this side, so it'll help pull the heat out of the engine compartment. So it's not only just for aesthetic reasons, but it's also for functionality. So we cut the hood, put these carbon fiber vents in. Also, the truck is not super clean right now. We had it clean for the first video, but you know, we're so busy, you got to keep running when you can. So if you look in the engine compartment here, we're just going to kind of go from passenger side over to the driver's side. It's got the industrial injection compound setup, which I believe is a, shoot, I can't even remember, 76 millimeter or something, turbo like that. We had to change this whole setup. We had to, because of these hood scoops right here, or the vents, and the way that they came down, the older setup, it was actually hitting the hood. It put a ding in his hood. So we had to, when we chopped this and we went to reinstall all this, we had to extend the turbo pipe, rewrap the whole heat shield, redo the mount, and basically set the turbo down lower in the engine compartment so that everything would clear. From there, we've got the turbo port, or the Turbo Smart race port. It's basically a boost relief so that you don't over pressurize your motor and vapor lock it. We can set it over here, basically how long the duration is and how much boost we want it to release at. 2 shots of nitrous in here, 1 pre-turbo, 1 right before the throat, right before it goes into the motor, and then we also got water meth. And then we've got the boost gauges, so we can read all the pressure and what's going on in the motor. Also the EGT gauge, replaced the fuel filter, redid a lot of electronics on this thing, new battery cables, new grounding cables. When you got this much horsepower, you want to make sure everything's grounding correctly, everything's connected correctly. So we spent a lot of time with the electronics on this. We also put an XDP, high horsepower, I think it's a 250 amp or 245 amp. Somebody's yanking over there. High output alternator. When we first did this build, we actually didn't put that in right from the start, and then we were having electrical low voltage issues and low voltage alerts, I think because of how many aftermarket components are on this truck, being the step bars, the fast fuel system, water meth, the nitrous. It's just so much electronic of a draw. So if you're going to add this much aftermarket accessories, I would definitely recommend upgrading to a higher output alternator as opposed to the Duramax stock one. So from there, coming over, yeah, just running around here. Basically, the Garret 67 millimeter Valley turbo. We also had a bad turbo vane position sensor, and that'll throw everything off on your Duramax too. That code basically put into limp mode. It's P0030A or something like that, or P300. But we had some problems when we first got this thing started up. Coming from here, you look down at the bottom, we put the PPE tie rods, stage 3. When you're putting 1,000 horsepower plus on the ground, especially if you're going to be doing 4-wheel drive boosted launches, those front wheels, when you're going, they'll want to they'll want to pivot in and break the tie rod. So you definitely want to upgrade those if you're going this much horsepower. PPE Stage 3 is what we put on here. We got an 8-bilt skid plate right here. He's got an air horn back there as well. These aftermarket headlights. Mishimoto. We put a Mishimoto intercooler on here. I think that definitely helps keep the intake temps down, and also the amount of overboost that you're putting into a motor like this. You definitely want something over the stock intercooler. When you got compound set up, it helps keep it cooler, it helps get the air injection temps a little bit lower, and can handle that extra boost. Coming around here, we set them up with some new, that's the Nitto Ridge grapplers. We've got the Radflow shocks all the way around on this thing, both front and rear, and we put the adjusters in there so you can kind of tension up the flow or loosen the flow depending on how stiff you want the shock. But all it really does is dial in and how much that flow goes to that remote reservoir. So Radflows, like I said, front and rear, I couldn't say more good things about Radflow than that. They're on the money. We're using them on the bouncers and the builds that we're doing, and Sean and customer service over there, they're 100%. So Radflow, if you're doing a build like this, I definitely recommend them. We put the Cognito upper control arms on here, and we're going to do some pano shots so you'll be able to see everything. Running around the side, he's got the amp step bars, open and close. It's a pretty nice accessory for sure. I definitely like them. It makes it easier to get in and out of the truck. He's got, basically, if you come and look in the engine compartment here, how we set them up, you got the ATS co-pilot over here on the left-hand side. We put the ATS Stage 5, so it's all billet shafts, the best transmission they have with the co-pilot controller for lockup control and your torque converter. And then we outfitted the gauges here. He's also got the Snow Performance water meth system. Stepping over here, he's got a nitrous bottle opener, nitrous blanket warmer, a purge valve, his LED lights set up. He's also got the PPE Stage, I think it's a 5-stage tuner, and then we've got his water meth system on off, as well as his gauge backlights on off. Sometimes when you're driving at night and you're on a long haul, I don't like them blinding me in the eye, so I like putting a switch on them. He's got the aftermarket dual fuel tanks back there, so he's got a control for that. He's got a lot of stuff going on in here, so it's a lot of switches, a lot of electronics underneath that dash here. We also installed a new Retrax bed cover for him. He had the Retrax set up before. He wanted the matte black, so we upgraded him to the new one. Coming around here on the back end, you've got the separate fuel tank. Go around this other side here. You got a separate fuel tank here, separate fuel tank fill. Like I said, there's his nitrous bottle. He's able to open it. He can warm it, open it, purge it, and everything, turn it on and off and everything from in the cab, so he never has to get out and mess with the bottle. We got the water meth tank back here as well. We also got these aftermarket lights so that when he's got his bed cover closed, he can turn them on and off, and he's still got full visibility back here. This guy rocks a gun safe back here as well. He's got all kinds of crazy shit on here. Aftermarket bodyguard bumper, we didn't put that on. It's nice, rigid lights, rigid LED pod lights front and rear, as well as a rigid LED light bar. You got that 8-bilt stamp in there. You got to tag it. Aftermarket MBRP exhaust. I think the AFE power rear diff cover. I will say, when you're throwing this much horsepower at a diesel, you definitely want a rear diff with fins on it, because you need to keep that fluid cool. And when you're throwing this much horsepower, I tell you, a differential, people don't realize the amount of stress that a differential goes through. But when you're taking this much horsepower and turning it 90 degrees, so you're coming in this way, turning it 90 degrees on both shafts, it's a lot of heat, it's a lot of stress. So you want to make sure and take care of that rear diff. Always recommend a rear diff or front diff cover. Keep the vent, keep the cooling down. I believe that's it. We're going to do some pano shots. We're going to do a drone footage. I got a burnout video, I think. We tried to take it a little easy on his truck, not too hard. It's also a brand new motor, so you want to break it in nice and easy. He's already asking for the 200 horsepower shot of nitrous, but we're trying to calm him down. He's getting there. We're getting it. It's all getting fixed up. Truck's scary fast. abuild.com. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Don't forget to follow us. Later. Fresh? We live? Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Yep.